Hey everyone, welcome back to Learner's World. Today's video is going to be over some good ways to remember things. It's going to be some things you could try when you're studying to see if they help you memorize information for a class you're struggling with. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with a mnemonic or mnemonic device. So a mnemonic device is a general term for a tool, procedure, or operation that helps improve memory by creating an artificial structure to link new information to existing knowledge. Usually it's going to be something really simple. So, like, let's say there's someone having a hard time remembering the different layers of the epidermis of your skin. A mnemonic device can help create a easier way to help you remember those layers of the epidermis, which I'll kind of go over a little bit with the next slide. So a mnemonic can refer to the mnemonic device itself, which can be a specific phrase or sentence, or the method of remembering. So what this means is you might, instead of having a simple little thing for each word that you're trying to remember, you might make a connection from one thing to what you're trying to remember and make it a little easier on yourself to remember this. An acrostic. This is a type of mnemonic where the first letter of each word in a phrase or sentence represents the item you need to remember. For example, Memorization, to remember the order of planets, so Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Or, like we were talking about just a couple seconds ago with the layers of the epidermis, you have the stratus corneum, stratus lucidum, stratus granulosum, stratus spinosum, and stratus basale. So one way that I've learned to remember this is with the acrostic that goes, Californians like girls in string bikinis. Next we have rhyme. So this is also another mnemonic strategy. One example is when you're in an English class or working with your reading skills and spelling skills, you'll hear the phrase I before E except after C, which kind of helps, yes, with the spelling, but it might also help with the pronunciation of a word. So some other memorization tools. Rewriting notes. So the active engagement aspect of this is the fact that rewriting forces you to process the information multiple times, which strengthens the neural connections and aids long-term retention. The organization aspect is it provides an opportunity to reorganize the information more clearly, highlight key points, and see how concepts relate to one another. And then filling gaps, it allows you to identify and fill any gaps from your initial note-taking session. Recording a lecture. So this is really good if you're in college classes because it helps with your active listening and note-taking. You're able to focus on understanding and participating in the live lecture while taking concise notes. Then use the recording to fill in gaps and add details later on. Review and reinforcement. Hearing the material for a second time, particularly in the instructor's own voice, can help reinforce the information and refresh your memory for exams. catering to different learning styles. For audio learners, listening to the lecture again is a powerful way to learn and retain information. And it is also going to help by being a more personalized pace. Recordings allow you to review challenging concepts at your own pace or catch up on material you missed without disrupting the class. So active recall is going to be very helpful too. So there's 4 good ways to do this. 1, have someone else read the notes or book that you're using for the class, and then write what they're saying in your own words. The blurting method being the next one. You read sections of either the notes or the book that you're using. Then you're going to close those, put them away, and write down everything that you remember. The next option is reading the notes or the book aloud so you can hear the information again instead of just seeing it. And rewriting notes in another area of the notebook or separate book or a separate sheet of paper. This way you're seeing the information multiple times, so it's going to get stuck in your brain. Reinforcement and retention. One way to do this is use spaced repetition. You will review your notes at increasing intervals. Example being a day after, then maybe 3 days after that, and then increase the interval each time you go to do it. And it's going to strengthen your memory over time. Create flashcards or quizzes. So flashcards is a good way to help you remember the information, because you will write down the definition on one side and the term on the other. And you can either have someone show you the flashcards or use the flashcards with yourself. And you'll look at, let's say, the definition side and try to remember what the term is. Or you can look at the term side and try to recall the definition. Both work. And Quizlist to test yourself regularly. This is why I think apps and websites like Quizlet and Kahoot are a great option. Quizlets can turn flashcards into a test for you, so you don't have to. And Kahoot pretty much does something very similar to this as well. Make audio recordings. Record yourself reading your notes with expression and listen to the recording, so you don't have to necessarily always record in the lecture. You can read this stuff yourself and record. You can listen on the go to reinforce the material. And then you also could try to teach somebody else by explaining the information to a friend or family member. This is going to be a great way to test your own understanding and solidify what you've learned. And then there's some alternative creative methods. So making connections, link new information to things you already know to create a stronger memory pathways. One way to do this might be, for example, in anatomy, when you're learning the different regions of the body, your chin is called the mental region. And when I was doing an anatomy class in college, I had already previously watched the show The Mentalist. Well, yes, in that show, you're seeing the character, or the main character, get into people's heads. It was an easy way for me to connect the idea that your chin is a part of your head, and therefore linking mental region to my chin. That's probably not the best way to make a connection, but that's what worked for me in that instance. Also using mnemonics, creating acronyms, rhymes, or other memory devices to help remember lists or complex information, like Roy G. Biv for the Order of the Rainbow Colors, which we already went a little bit more in depth about. and then try a memory palace, which is mentally placing information into familiar locations to create a quote-unquote palace where you can retrieve it later. That's all I have for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button, and if there's a topic you might want to go see further in depth in a later on video, please leave it in the comment section below. I hope you have a great day. Bye!